commentary, observations, experience as the teacher, as they say. So what I do is try and provide a perspective on what I experienced from what I learned from childhood. I did choose my parents to jump in here. And that's why I was very blessed to have the parents that I did, who were not abusive. They were very honorable, polite, considerate, caring, compassionate, and loving with the best way they knew how. Experiencing a system that is all about what? Controlling our space and charging us electronic numbers for our space. Negative space. Negative magnetic polarity space. Negative current. AC, DC. And so when I grew up, I began realizing when you look at the comparative mathematical addition and subtraction in polarity between positive polarity bloodlines and negative polarity bloodlines. So when you're a monad or a monopole, as a polarity integrator, it's pretty easy to do the mathematical calculations on loss and gain, right? So as I grew up, I realized that, hey, my parents bought a house in Tustin, California, on Molina Drive, which is a 2-story house with a pool, your basic Truman Show, for, as I remember it, $42,000. Now go take a look at that house today on the real estate market in Tustin, California, in what would be North Tustin, actually, in a housing tract which was known as Meredith. Meredith was the builder, the contractor, like Soul Contracts, contractor, on 13421 Molina Drive. I went and looked at it about a year or so ago. My God, almost $1 million. Okay, so if you want to live in that same house that I grew up in, you'd have to accumulate $1 million worth of electrons to be able to live in a house that my dad paid $42,000 worth. So the way this works is the more space that they control how much you're going to pay to be in that space, which means they want to replicate as fast as they possibly can accelerate it. More parasites accumulating more electrons in negative space of positive bulbs. So what ends up happening is when you look at the game board, which is planet Earth, the idea is to control all the space. Now you got nowhere to hide. Now you got nowhere to run, trying to find space in which your energy is not being molested, because they control all the space. Those are space invaders. So they invaded space, invaded Eden, and the spirit in Eden, Mama Earth, fell into negative magnetic space as a result of Star Wars. So you can easily see how this happened when Columbus landed. When was that? Now, I don't keep track of time. I don't wear a watch. But I heard that somewhere in history, because I wasn't there when it happened, that some guy on a boat landed and decided to rampage across Turtle Island, known as Manifest. Oh, manifest. What do you want to manifest? Destiny. Oh, destiny. Is this called the spheres of destiny? Now, where I come from, as a monopole, right? A single pole. I fly one flag, baby. That's a love flag, otherwise known as peace. Right? You seen a peace flag when when an army said, hey, I think we need to negotiate here, put the white flag out. That means you come in peace, baby. Okay, we'll talk. Okay, so now you get into treaties, right? And if you know anything about the Cowboys and Indians, or if you will, the U.S. Cavalry and the Native Indians, Native Spirit, Native clans and tribes, they don't honor their agreements, they don't honor their contracts, or they don't honor their word. Now, when I grew up with my father instilled in me the importance of what was known as your word is your bond. Your bond traders. Now you get into your birth certificate, birthing, a birth canal, admiralty law, the law of the sea. Now wait a second, water worlds, DNA born out of water worlds. Yeah, water worlds, DNA born out of water worlds. Got to cool that fire down, got to cool that monopole down, got to cool down the law of one, which is what love is. So you know that love is what frees you, right? So now to get into birthing canals, admiralty law, the Uniform Commercial Code, corporations, which are by definition parasites, because they got to show a profit, and the only way they can show a profit is feeding on us. Now, if you study the Nazis and you realize what National Socialism is, you began to realize that the corporations were running the show. All I got to do is examine one big corporation that I'm familiar with. It's called Krupp. K-R-U-P-P. Oh, and here's another big one. IG Farben. Right? I always wondered, because I actually saw the photograph of a B-17 bomber, American bomber, who was flying out of England and flew right over Auschwitz. And I'm looking at the bomb bay doors opening up, right? And I'm going, why aren't they hitting that IG Farben plant? Right? No, they got another target. So you realize who's choosing targets, like a Target store, right? So you realize who's running the show. The corporate umbrella, right? The Vatican priesthood, the Babylonian company storefront, right? Tie that into the city of London, tie that into all the militaries on the planet, and you begin to see how the game board is being played, which is called controlling your space. The Monopoly board game, Scrabble, character maps, right? Alphanumerical programming, what we just choose to put in memory, which is future past. So in this particular space, it's all about controlling our space. See, just like on this island where I'm at, on the big island, man, go compare the cost of a gallon of milk if you drink milk or any food, and then go someplace else. So you see, the idea is to get you to run out of space that you can go to and survive, unless you're willing to obey. Get on your knees and obey, because you're going to be working for them as slaves. And of course, Aldous Huxley, he outlined all this, not just in Brave New World, but I remember listening to a man who said, they will be comfortable in their slavery. What? Yeah. It's called Get on Your Knees. Obey your master program. So now when you get into computers and hard drives, Silicon Valley, Silicon is programmable, right? I remember a time I worked for a company just for a very short period of time, because I ran through a lot of places very fast to learn what it is that they were doing. But I worked for a company which was Collins Radio, which was bought out by Rockwell. And what were they doing in this little plant in Newport Beach where I was working? I worked in a clean room, and it was called laminar flow, because there were machines in there called Perkin-Elmers. And what were Perkin-Elmer machines doing? using a material called photoresist and imprinting microcircuits onto what were known as silicon wafers. And these little tiny chips, which are like circuit boards, were going into calculators like TI-83s, because the competitor for Rockwell was Texas Instruments. Now we're into college. Now we're into college calculators, right? And then they would go through what's called an acid bath, and then they would get baked, and then they would go through what's known as a checker. Pretty much the same thing as if you go down to AutoZone. Hey, I got an idiot light that's telling me something's wrong with the computer box. The circuits are not firing correctly. Okay, well, guess what? We can plug a scan in there. So if you saw Minority Report, hey, let's go out here and find out what's wrong with this cyborg, man. Somewhere along there's a glitch in the matrix. Hey, is this a Neo? Well, we can reprogram a Neo so he doesn't remember Trinity. Whoa, that sounds like Mr. Smith. Yeah, you're getting it. A glitch in the matrix. Jump into the matrix. Start burning stuff out from the inside so it can't rebuild itself. There's too much light in here. Atom must be in here. The law of one must be in here. Uh-oh. We got to separate Neo from Trinity. They killed the guy that brought that out. Do you know that? He put up a video that probably wasn't up on YouTube for maybe more than 16 hours. I watched it because I was supposed to watch it. Now, how did I know to watch that video at the time in which I became aware of where it was at to watch it? And the next thing I know, in less than 24 hours, it's gone. You think that's a coincidence? Okay. Separate the arcs. You know what a space arc is, right? The one's arc, right? Well, Yellow Rose happened to show the arc. You know what a space arc is, right? You want to see a space arc? Go look at the clip that Yellow Rose for Texas put up. It's there. We're here. The allied forces of mankind is here. So they know it's over. I know that Karen Ann McDonald put up a photo last night, and I saw it on Facebook because I was supposed to look at it at the time I was supposed to look at it, because most of the time I don't spend very much time throughout the course of the day looking at my Facebook. Too much of it is just programming stuff, alphanumerical stuff that the AI throws up there. So the Nazis know they're done. They're all washed up. You know what being washed up is. Washed up on a beach. Right? Washed up on a beach. Pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean. Disneyland. I could tell you a lot of stories about Disneyland. We're storytellers. I realized as a child I tell love stories. So I realized right away when I was a teenager that it's called romancing the girl, romancing the boy when you're a monopole. You're one. You're just as much one as you are the other. I'm going to sneeze. You know what that means? Oh, no. Yeah. You know, sneeze. My mom used to call that shake the rose bush. Shake the rose bush. There is a pink flower in my heart. I can go up and look at the sun and see the pink. See the sun go pink. Right? And then it goes green. Green atom, healing energy. So anyway, this is part of the reason I put these videos, like serving notice. Serving notice, right? Which is like vacate the premises. But it's the other way around. right? Which basically means they're done feeding. Feeding. Bottom feeders. You know what a bottom feeder is, right? And that's when you get into food chains. That's when you get into seated races. And that's when I mentioned to another guy, man, you got to be running a faster drive motor, man, or you're going to become food for something else that's lower on the food chain. Right? So when you realize, hey, we fell into the underworld. Whoa. Otherwise known as when Dante Sartori said, the land of the crocodiles. I know. Have a good day. I love you all. Be good to yourselves. It's a beautiful day. The sun's out. We've had a couple of beautiful days here on the Big Island. Brrr.